Hey y'all, here's my video compilation of the bikes from the cross-country chase that began and ended in downtown Cape Girardeau. Now I missed the bikes coming in at the finale. I thought I had read they were coming in at 4 and we were there in time for that, but I understood they come in at 3:30 instead. So I just walked around and got pictures, little video snippets of every bike that I could find. And I don't think these here were in the race. These were on Main Street in downtown Cape Girardeau. But I know there's a lot of motorcycle enthusiasts out there that would love seeing all of these bikes. Now, I'm not knowledgeable about the bikes, but I do love filming and photography and sharing fun things for others to enjoy. So you can catch up on everything about the cross country chase on their website at www.themotorcyclechase.com. And you'll see there information on the inaugural, I can't say that very well, the very first one in 2019 that went from Michigan to Key West, Florida. Now that was a long ride. That's like from the very top to the very bottom of our country. And they did that in 2019, and then 2020 we had COVID that hit, and they didn't have a race, and people were asking them to do it again, and so they decided to do a mini chase. They called this a mini chase. It was only 5 days. I think the initial one I read was 10 days. Now for my video, they were playing loud music in downtown Cape Girardeau, which was a lot of fun, but I had to mute my video because on YouTube, that music in the background, they will just zap you for copyright purposes if you have music in the video. So I'm just going to try to talk a little bit about the race while you look at all of the amazing motorcycles that are in this video. All of the motorcycles in the race must be manufactured between 1930 and 1960. So that's super cool because all of these bikes are really rather old, um, older than me. All of the bikes must have original engine cases, and there's a bunch of other requirements that you can go to their website to read. That's where I got the information that I'm sharing with you in this voiceover. I like that bike because I like white, and that's a cream. So this is a vintage tour excursion. I love that. I read that. All of these are vintage, and it's an excursion. Um, and everywhere they go, people get to enjoy the bikes. But not only that, it is a race. And so this is similar to the Great Race that came through Cape Girardeau just a few weeks prior in the way that they calculate and score for the race. And the details from the website are that they are scored for endurance. Now, for endurance, it says they average 250 miles a day, and this one over a 5-day period. Another thing they score on is navigation. So this particular route is a 1,340-mile route. Oh, I see here on the screen is some bikes coming in. So I was glad to get some video of people on bikes. I don't know if these are local. I'm thinking these are local car people. Some club that came in. As I was saying, they're scored on navigation, a 1,340-mile route, and they need to navigate it without going off course or getting lost. And the third thing that they are scored on is speed. And so this is not the kind of race that you see at the Daytona 500 where the first one to come in wins. By speed here, it's much like, I believe, the Great Race where it's timed fashion. So they are given X amount of time to travel from point A to point B, and they need to arrive at the exact time that they are supposed to arrive at. And so you need to gauge yourself as you're going along the road so that you don't get there too soon or too late. And then they're also scored on knowledge. So they're given a 60-question test. I don't think I would like this test. I don't know if it's written or if they just verbally do it. I'm assuming it's written, where the questions are all about covering the route. So I guess you have to, ooh, look at that cool bike seat with all the little studs on it and the patina on the fender. Okay, see, I can appreciate a little bit about bikes, even though I don't know anything about them. So, where was I at? So the test is about covering the route. So I'm assuming you've got to pay attention on the route, make mental notes, learning about the places you've been. And so in this case, they went through the Ozarks. See, there are some really interesting bikes out there. Look at that one. Oh, see, I can appreciate this. Even if you're not a motorcycle enthusiast that knows everything about motorcycles, you can still look at these bikes and appreciate the details and the uniqueness of them. Back to knowledge. So 60 questions, and some covering the route and some covering motorcycle history. So there's no way to get that prepared for that while you're on the road. You'd have to study up motorcycle history. But you know what? I'm thinking they had no problem with that part. These guys, they know their motorcycle history because they love motorcycles. Look at that big wheel. Isn't that awesomeness? Oh, and look at how the, I don't know, exhaust goes up and down. I like this teal color. That's cool. That's got a big wheel too. All this stuff. Now, this is the beginning, I think, of the actual racers. You see that was number 30, and this one is number 86. And so I went all the way down the back side of the bikes because I could get them, the crowd was on the front and I didn't have to maneuver around too many people. I felt I could get a better view of the bikes. And then later on, when my husband was with me, we went on the down just half of the front. And so you'll see some of these again, and they're labels, so you'll get to see the year and exactly what kind of bike they are. So back to about the race. In 2019, they did this. I already said that. So this race, they started on July 5 at the Red Star Boat Dock. And if you're from Cape Girardeau, you know exactly where that is, but that's right on the Mississippi River in the Red Star District in Cape Girardeau. They started on July 5th and they did what was called a 29-mile shakedown ride. Now, I couldn't quite figure that out, but I'm assuming they rode for 29 miles and then came back to Cape. And those 29 miles counted, but they didn't start until 2 o'clock on that day. And then on July 6th, they went from wherever they were at, I'm assuming Cape, to Branson, Missouri. Now that's clear across the state. I know when we drive there, it takes 5.5, 6 hours for us to drive there. So they, I guess, spent the night in Branson. July 7th, they went from Branson to Hot Springs, Arkansas. So they crossed the border into Arkansas. I hope you're enjoying all these bikes. I look up for my notes every once in a while, and I'm like still kind of in awe and interest in them. Oh, look at this one. This guy is from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. He had his jacket there, or her. I think some of them might be hers. And so I filmed it, and I love the fuzzy stuff. A lot of them had such unique seats and coverings for seats that we seem to be drawn to. So from Hot Springs, they left and they went to Mount Magazine. Oh, I love this one. Isn't that cool? That's just so unique. And so they went to Mount Magazine, and we were in Mount Magazine traveling just last year. Had been there for the first time. I can just imagine how fun that was for the riders if they'd never been to Mount Magazine. That if you haven't gone there, that's a really, really cool mountain to go to. And there's some others rather close by in Arkansas that are fun to go to as well. And so then they took a surprise turn. Now, see, I'm told that these bikers don't know where they are going. It's a secret. It's a surprise to them. They just hit the road and have to go wherever they're told. And so when you go from Hot Springs, Arkansas to Mount Magazine, you go down south halfway through Arkansas. So I think maybe they were expecting to continue south, but they took a turn to the west and they went to Muskogee. I don't know how to say that. Oklahoma. Muskogee, I'm told. Went to Muskogee, Oklahoma. So that's cool that they reached 3 states in this tour. And then they went from on July 9th from Muskogee. Yeah, say it again.
Muskogee.
Muskogee. I got it. I got it. Helper over here. To Mountain Home, Arkansas. So they went back to Arkansas. But if you know anything about this area, you know that they are staying in the Ozarks. We love our Ozarks here in Missouri, which also are go down into Arkansas. And the way I describe the Ozarks a lot of times is little mountains. It's like you'll be driving along and you'll just see this mountain right in front of you. And you feel like you're just going to run smack. Ooh, I love that one. I love teal and white. That could be my bike. um, but you feel like you're just going to run right into the side of a mountain and then you don't. So it's kind of hilly and the scenic views are pretty amazing, especially when you get down into the Ozark valleys and then you have these mountains all around you. So these people who have never been to Missouri before, I hope they really enjoyed touring. This says California Highway Patrol. I thought that was neat. It made me think of the Chips. Yeah. What were the Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox? That might be showing my age here. So anyway, from Mountain Home, Arkansas, on July 10th back to Cape Girardeau, and this is July 10th, with them parked in downtown Cape Girardeau.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, taking over for the wife who's taking an interlude into our break. We're going to look at some motorcycles still yet. I like this. I like all the patina on this stuff. I like the saddles, especially the old school saddles, like from the 30s era. That's a neat teal color. I like all the flare on the old fenders. The ones from the 30s and the 40s still have a lot of Art Deco. Now this is one of my favorites right here. Looks like a military Jeep. Looks like a military Jeep. Yeah, it does sort of. Looks like a military motorcycle. It's got the saddle colored saddle. It's very cool. This is a newer style, of course, and there's a slight picture of the mural in behind on the river walk on the wall, downtown Cape Girardeau.
Showing the crowds.
And now we're showing the crowds. My voice changed there for just a second. You heard that in the background.
I don't know, I'm pretty far away. I gotta talk up.
Missouri Wall Hall of Fame. It's very cool. There's a neat shot of the downtown. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. The flare on the old school bikes here. This is 35, which is kind of like Art Deco, Art Nouveau on the flare on the fenders and stuff. How they're very ornate, and it's just really cool. Yeah, American muscle and motorcycles in chrome and steel. Yeah, a twist to the wrist, boys and girls. One down, four up, and ready to roll. Quite a few varieties. I was glad to see that they had some Indian and Triumph, BSA in the mix. And they had a few that I didn't anticipate. I like that military motorcycle style one right there. It's fully loaded, by the way, as you can see on the front end, the holster and the rifle. So that's really awesome. I love the colors on this one, orange and black. Very cool. 1954, I believe it said. So yeah, covered in patina. That one's covered in some really cool graphic art. I found interesting. That was an Indian, by the way. And I don't know how well you can see the labels, but they all have these little setups on their handlebars. You may be able to see them. It gives them the outline of the downtown area where they're currently at. Helps them check out the old suspension on those 30 style bikes and older. It has a really stagecoach early style suspension. I mean, serious. So yeah, really cool on that. I love the old footrests. And this is a nice trike right here. That is really cool. I love that one. That's one of my favorites, actually. This one's very nice. The saddle almost looks orange in the picture, but it was really an interesting tan or saddle color, as they call it, saddle. Now here's some seats with the warm fuzzy. That's a Beamer. BMW for those who say BMW. Tell how some of them have their gear stashed on the back in different formats. Some of them have big honking saddlebags, and some of them have more like containers, like almost like toolboxes or storage containers type scenarios. A couple of them remind me of the bike from, if you ever remember the TV show Then Came Bronson. He's a motorcycle dude who rode all over the country, and his bike was basically set up where he just had a sleeping bag and stuff on the back. No, I was back in the 60s or 70s. I can't quite remember when that was, but pretty far back. That was always a good show. I like that show. So, to see the vintage, the real deal on these bikes, they are raucous. As a 42, I mean, you go from pre-World War II to, basically up to Nam almost. Unfortunately, those are the parameters. Now, there's a warm fuzzy seat for those who like warm fuzzy seats. So, there you go. Get you some of that. So, this one has almost like a fork, the old school forks. Didn't have any 8 bars, but it's got forks. So there's definitely an old school saddlebag set up there. Cool. Very cool. And that's a seat with patina. If you ever have another girl, which we won't, I would name her Patina. Yeah, I made that up. I am so sorry. Check out the style. Very, very cool. Maybe some of you guys had bikes or gals. No offense. I did when I was growing up. Cars, bikes, bicycles. And I had ridden my motorcycle in the rain and the snow. But then again, some of us are just not too bright. So I have been there and done that. So, oh, this is one of my favorites too. It has a sidecar, which makes it really cool. Sidecar cars are always cool. Adds a little something to it. So if you like yours bikes a little more decked out with a newer setup on chrome wheels and stuff, some of them had them there, which I thought was interesting. And you can tell we're getting even farther back when you see that setup on the front. Very, very cool. I get to revisit it while I watch this. And there's some old school bikes in here. The fact that they're in this race is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm serious. The bikes back to the 1930s that are running in a race in 2021. That is awesome. And you don't see these every day. You see some of them have some liquid snacks in the picture there. Yeah, that's cool. You just gotta love the look of the old bikes. Same basic concept today. Yeah, that is cool. I love those. Those military looking ones. I like that. They're very awesome. Enjoy. My favorites in the winter.
Was it